Today we're going to show you how to make a yarn Raggedy Ann wig. We're going to use red yarn on a muslin base. You can see how this one was done. You need a piece of PVC pipe. We used a foot of 3/4 inch PVC. We then attached a piece of Scotch tape to it, sticky side up. We took a small marking pen and marked the either side so that when we wrapped the yarn around the PVC, it would stick to the tape. We used just a short piece of tape on the ends to hold the sticky side up. When you're ready to cut this, you're going to be able to just cut from the one marked end to the other marked end. You'll know the sticky side is on one side, and the side to cut will be your up side. A rotary cutter is the best way to do this. When it comes off the PVC pipe, you'll see that you have all your yarn stuck together. It will be a uniform length, which makes it easier to manage. You can then sew it on your sewing machine with a regular straight stitch. The straight stitch will just go down the center of the tape. When the tape is stitched down, you can then tear it off. When you're stitching, you can just zigzag at the end and get those last few stray pieces tucked under. The length of this doesn't matter too much if you have a longer or a shorter PVC pipe, because when you're going to use it on your wig, you'll just cut it off to length. You've now created a strip of hair. You'll next start to peel the tape off of the back of the hair. When you're making a doll wig, you usually have a round that you're going to use for the face, and the back half is a round that you can use for the hair. We put some lines on our muslin round just to give us a guide. We're not going to stitch down some wig hair on each of these lines, but it just gives us something that we can work with. When you're peeling the tape, you're going to have some that stays on. Don't worry about this. It's not going to get in the way. When it's time to put this hair on the muslin, you're going to just line it up about 1/4 inch away from the edge of the muslin round. This is to give you a little bit of a seam allowance to put the face round and the hair round together to make the Raggedy Ann doll's head. You will then just take and stitch down several rows of the doll's hair. When you get towards the end of the round, you're going to just estimate about 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then you can snip it off. This shows you why it doesn't matter really how long your strip of doll hair is going to be, because you will just put together the pieces that you need and the lengths that you need, and you just snip it off. And now you're going to have a shorter piece left over, and you can just use that for the next row. When your next row is going to go on, take the hair from the previous row and shove it over to the side so you don't stick it down underneath the next row by accident. Give yourself the 1/4 inch seam allowance and start to stitch. You can determine how close you want to put each row so that you get as thick a wig as you would like. By just adding one row after another, you're going to create a really nice full head of hair for your Raggedy Ann doll. We found that putting about 5 rows gives us the thickness of a wig that we like to use. When you're done, this is what the back of your project looks like, and this is the front. You then take your completed doll head and body and you turn over a 1/4 inch seam allowance and hand stitch the wig to the back of your doll's head. Here are some Raggedy Anns for you to enjoy that we completed.